Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of my programming series. Today guys, we're going to be using namespaces, file streams, and all sorts of craziness to help explore our new awesome understanding of programming. Okay, so I have two void functions. One is to create a file and one is to read that file. So let's go over our create file. I create a file of type of stream, which is output file stream. And the reason because when you create files, you want to use an of stream because it's an output file stream. That means it's going to create one. But yeah, I'm using this kind of pseudo random kind of operation here. I'm not using the random class. You might be familiar with the random class in C++, but for all intents and purposes, this will be good enough for just filling the contents of this file, and I'll be happy with that. I don't want to use a random file because there's a little bit more to it than you might think. Anyways, yeah, you don't have to worry about what goes on in this method at all. And then we close the file. And right now we're going to create the read file together. We're going to use this function from the std library. So std, short for standard library. So if you do using namespace std, you'll know all about it. But remember, we don't do that. We're going to do std : and then these are all of the things in the standard library. So we're going to do std : getline. That is a function. And this function is overloaded. It has 3 possible overloads. We're going to use one of them. So for example, if you put a comma in here, you can actually, it's a little hard to read, but you should also get used to that as well. You got to just look for the types, and they're usually with the scope resolution operator, you can see what type. So anyways, we have to pass in the stream. So what we're going to do is actually, instead of, we're going to actually change this function. We're going to change this to an if stream file. So we're going to pass in the file, and what we're going to do is also update this if stream file. You don't have to put a name here, it's just for clarity. And we're going to pass in an if stream. So we're going to do std if stream file, and then we're going to open it with file name. So that's the constructor argument, takes in a path, and then we're going to pass in file, just like that. Okay, we've made one change to the project where we've declared a read file prototype that takes an if stream instead of a file name, and we're going to pass it by reference. It's really important that we pass it by reference because we want to manipulate the actual file stream and not make a copy of it. So there's something called pass by value and pass by reference. I assume you know a little bit about this, but we want to pass by reference because we don't want to create a copy. So we're going to pass our file as the stream. We created a line string because that's what's it's gonna get the line and use this string line that we've created and set it to that line. I'll explain everything in a second. And then we want it to get the line until it finds a new line character. So before we even begin, I want to actually show you what happens when we compile this. We're not going to call this function for now. We're just going to run it. It exited with code 0. Here's our directory where we created the test file. So if you just pass in test.txt, it'll create it in your project directory where all your CPP and .h files are. Now if we open it up, this is the random produced algorithm I created myself. I just use random numbers and modulus to kind of create random numbers. There's actually a sequence here, as you can see. Like really simple. There's every 5th thing it cycles between these up until a point. And yeah, this happens quite a bit. This is just how I decided to do it. So basically what we're doing is there's 1,000 lines here, and we want to read each number as a string, and then when it finds a new line character, which is right here, it's invisible. So basically each line, each string, std string line, is going to take this as a string. Now within the getline, we have a while loop, because this is going to keep going as long as there's things in this stream to get the line from. So right now line equals that first number right here. Right now line equals 637 as a string. What we're going to do is we're going to output it. So std out cout line, and then we're going to create a new line like that. And what we're also going to do is create some debug messages. So let's uncomment these lines and build our solution and then debug. Alright, so it definitely worked there, but we don't pause the system. There's another way to pause the system. I will show you in our main. We can do std get car. This will basically be system pause. And there we go, end the file, and it's just waiting for me to type something and then it goes away. So yeah, it's really good. It does work pretty well. To clarify what we've covered in this video, we've used the namespace. We've declared functions that we define outside of that namespace using scope resolution operator. We've covered if streams. We've covered output file streams, input file streams. We've covered the by reference. We've covered the standard getline function. We've covered closing files, and we've really covered how to read a file from start to finish using a specific character as a delimiter. This could have been space, and that is it for this video. So thank you so much for watching, and peace out now.